Hello everyone, my name is Itamar Ben David. I'm a tour guide here in Jerusalem, and today, as always, we want to learn about the Parasha, the weekly portion of the Torah. Last Shabbat, we were reading about the life of Isaac. So, as always, thanks to Google Earth and all the content providers that added their photospheres, we'll be able to learn the Bible, and that's what we're going to do. So here it is. Here's the land of Israel. You can see the Mediterranean on one side, the Jordan River between the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea over here. And our focus today is going to be on the southern part of Israel where Isaac lived. Okay, so again, thanks to Google Earth and all their people, we're able to cover that. So we'll start with the city of Hebron. The city of Hebron is where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob with their wives are buried. And the last parasha was talking about the death of Sarah and later Abraham, and they are buried over here in Hebron. This one, this portion of the Torah is talking about the life of Isaac, and it starts with a prayer. Now, it starts with the prayer of Isaac for children from his beloved wife, Rebecca. Now, we don't know exactly where this prayer took place. It could be Hebron, it could be later in the Negev desert. We don't really know, but just for, the order of things, I just want to put it this way, that it happens maybe in Hebron. So I could be wrong about that. So Isaac is praying for Rebecca to have children. They are married for 20 years at this point, and ultimately God is answering him. So just before we talk about these twins, I just want to show you, Isaac is a very special patriarch. He never left the country. So beside of one visit to Jerusalem in Mount Moriah, the binding of Isaac, is a very traumatic event of the binding of Isaac. The rest of the time, Isaac is spending between Hebron and the land of Glau. So here's Beersheba, and the land of Glau is the western side of the Negev desert, and a little bit of the Gaza Strip. This is the area where Isaac spent all his life, on a very limited region. So now Rebecca conceived twins, and this is what the Bible has to say about them. The babies jostled each other within her, and she said, "Why is this happening to me?" So she went to inquire of the Lord. Rebecca is almost like a prophetess. She speaks to God. The Lord said to her, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." The boys grew up, and Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the open country, while Jacob was content to stay at home among the tents. So we're talking about one child that is red, is full of life, is hairy, that's Esau. Is a hunter, and the other one is Jacob, which stays home, kind of a nerd, I would say. The rabbinic tradition says he was studying the Torah in the tents. That's the kind of person, very spiritual compared to his brother, which is very earthly, very materialistic. He's down to earth. So Isaac knows what his mission is. His mission is to continue his father's legacy, Abraham's purpose, which is to build a nation in the land of Israel. And he's just wondering, you see the nature of his very sweet boys, and it says one is spiritual, and the other one is down to earth. He's able to deal with politics. He's able to move people. He's able for leadership. He's capable of leadership. So that's why Isaac favored Esau, whereas Rebecca, his wife, favored the younger one. She favored Jacob, which was a more spiritual person. Now, so number one, we have that prayer and the birth of the twins, somewhere between Hebron and the desert. I want to show you the land of Glau. So this is the region of Glau, approximately between Gaza and these valleys over here, western of Beersheba. This is approximately the area. It could be a bit to the south as well, but this is the area. And the next stories about Isaac refers to his success in the land of Glau. So there is famine. Taking place. It's not unusual in the land of Israel to have famine, to have droughts, and just like Abraham will experience famine and will go down to Egypt, later Jacob will experience famine and will send the sons down to Egypt. So does Isaac. He says, there is famine. That's how you deal with it. You go down to Egypt where there's a lot of bread. But then God appears to him and says, no, do not leave the land of Israel. And this is very special about Isaac. He never left the country. He lived his entire life in a very limited area, unlike his father Abraham, that was all over the place, and the same with Jacob, that went to Haran to get married, had children. 20 years later, he's back. Then he goes down to Egypt. No, Isaac is a different person. He's much more connected to the land. So he stops in the land of Gerar. He does this routine of, with Abimelech. He says, no, this is not, Rebecca is not my wife. She's actually my sister. Kind of like what Abraham did with Pharaoh and later with Abimelech. And ultimately, Abimelech realized, no, this is actually his wife. So he gives her back, and Isaac gets a blessing, basically. He gets a blessing, and he become a very successful, not just shepherd, but also farmer. So if you look carefully with Google Earth, we can actually see how many fields we have in the Western Desert. Okay, there are a lot of kibbutzes and farmers communities over here. So you can actually see the land is very, very heavily cultivated. It's very good land, actually, if you know how to treat it. And then you have the more, more dramatic desert just over here, the sands that you see over here, the sand dunes that you see over here, and further down to the south. Okay, but the Western Desert, the land of Gerar, is a perfect area for agriculture. So Isaac is a farmer. He's connected to the land. The Bible says that he was seeding the land and got 100-fold. Okay, so people start to be envy. The people of Gerar starts to be envy with his financial success. It won't be the first time that people are envy with a Hebrew person for his financial success. I want to show you a few photospheres from the land of Gerar. So there you go. So this is from the Besor Valley. We have some springs over there and some high aquifers. So it's not impossible to dig wells in this region. If you dig 5 meters, 10 meters, 15 meters, you'll definitely find water on the surface. So again, not the most impressive stream that you've seen in your life, I believe, but I just want to show you that there's water in this region. Desert in Israel is not really what people think. It's not just this Sahara desert. Okay, desert is actually a place of life where you can raise the flock as well. So this is one. And number two, I found this picture that shows us, the terrain, pretty flat area, some trees, some fields, and this is an Ottoman well from the 19th century. So I'm not saying that this is how the well of Isaac looked like, but just to get a nice sense of it. Here I go. You can see here's the well just over here, and that's the structure above it to draw the water. Okay, so now that we understand how the terrain looks like, we can move on. So the people of Gerar are envy with Isaac, and they block his wells one time, second time, third time, and ultimately they leave him alone. And where he was left alone with the third well, he said, "Oh, this is Rehoboth." Okay, Rehoboth. God extended my land. So there are a few towns I know in America called Rehoboth. So it's actually coming from this story. Okay, so there is a city in Israel called Rehoboth. It's closer to Tel Aviv, but the Rehoboth that we're talking about is approximately here. It's probably somewhere around here. So you can see the greenery of the Besor Valley just over here, and this is approximately where Isaac's Rehoboth was. I could be wrong, but I would say most scholars suggest that's the one, which is not impossible, let's say. Okay, this is very likely. Today it's an archaeological site, but we'll leave that for some other time. Okay, now Isaac is happy. He has his land. He will move later to Beersheba to stay in Beersheba. So here's the city of Beersheba, the modern city of Beersheba, one of the biggest cities in Israel, I must say, and not too far from from modern Beersheba, we have ancient Beersheba. So let's take a look. Ancient Beersheba is a biblical tale. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and I want to show you just the terrain and the ancient well we have over here. So if you look to this side, you'll see the biblical walls of Beersheba from the days of the Judean kings, so 2,800 years before our time. So not exactly the days of Isaac, but still, just to get a sense of how things probably looked like at the time. Here's the ancient well over there. It's really ancient, but not as ancient, as from the time of Isaac. So somewhere around here, there was a well where Isaac lived next to, and Abimelech and his defense minister Pikol are coming to Isaac to have an agreement, to have some kind of an oath and agreement, political agreement, I would say, with Isaac, because they had some bad blood going on in the land of Gerar, but they saw that he's a very influential, very successful farmer and shepherd, and they said, okay, we want an agreement with this man, and this is where they signed this agreement. Approximately in this area. So the word for agreement is shvuah, and Beersheba is named after this oath or this agreement. Be'er is well, and shvuah or sheva, that's the agreement, the oath. So that's why the city of Beersheba is called the city of Beersheba, not to be confused with number 7. Number 7 in Hebrew is also Sheva. So according to the Bible, this is not the reason why it's called Beersheba. It's called after the agreement, not after the number 7. Okay. Now the children of, children is always a drama, and the children of Isaac are growing. Esau is 40 years old. He's taking some Hittite women. He's upsetting his parents because they're not Hebrews. They're not from the right family, let's say. They're local women. And Rebecca says, if Jacob is getting married with the Hittites, I will, that will be the end. So she pushes Isaac to get Hebrew women for her beloved, her favored son, Jacob. That's the beginning of the drama. At that point, Isaac is blind, and then we have this whole drama that Isaac wants to bless Esau. He sends him to hunt something for him. Let's make a barbecue, and then I will bless your soul. And Rebecca hears that, and she wants the blessing to get to her favorite son, to Jacob. So she slay a goat. She will dress Jacob with the skin of, she will put the hair of the goats on the skin of Jacob, and they will trick poor blind Isaac into blessing Jacob instead of Esau. That's where it happened. So now we have this bad blood going on between Esau and Jacob. First time Jacob was holding the ankle of Esau on the birth. Then Jacob tricked Esau, or maybe not tricked, but got the birthright, the blessing of the first son from Esau for a stew of lentils, of red lentils. And now, towards the death of Isaac, on his deathbed almost, Jacob, for the third time, he's tricking Esau, and he's getting the blessing of Isaac. So this is the beginning of a rivalry between these two siblings, these twins, basically. Next week, on the next Shabbat, we're going to read about how Jacob fled to Haran from the death threat of Esau. He's going to get married with his cousins, Lavan daughters, Rachel and Leah. And where is Esau going? Okay, so just so you get, again, the proportion of things, Jacob would leave from Beersheba all the way to Haran, kind of like walking back to where Abraham lived. And Esau will get married with the daughter of Ishmael, Mahalat, her name. Where is Ishmael at that time? It's not very clear. The Bible says he was between Havilah and Shur, so it could be between Ethiopia and Sinai, or between, as some rabbis suggest, between Pakistan and Sinai. Okay, it's a pretty vast area. So we're talking about Ishmael, which is nomadic, and he's really roaming around. So either way, we're talking about these nomadic tribes, descendants of Ishmael, the Arabs, basically. And Esau is going to this uncle, this uncle of his, the son, one of the sons of Abraham, and he says, okay, maybe this will please, my parents. I'm getting married with a woman from the family of Abraham. So he will go there, and later on we're going to hear about the land of the Edomites. Okay, so the land of the Edomites is between the southern part of the Dead Sea and the Red Sea in Transjordan. This is approximately the land of the Edomites. It's the tribe that came from Esau. So Esau has another name. He's known as Edom. Okay, Edom, which means red. So because he was red when he was born, because later he asked for the red lentils stew, and because he's a hunter, he's shedding a lot of blood, he's red. Okay, that's his color. That's also the color of my shirt, if you noticed. So Esau is red, and I think this is really the struggle or the war, I would say, between Jacob and Esau. Jacob is spiritual, Esau is down to earth. Jacob is all about the prophecy, okay? So his voice, okay? And Esau is about his hands. So that's why Isaac is so confused. He says, I hear the voice of Jacob, but I feel the hands of Esau. Okay, that's when he was confused before he gave the blessing to Jacob. So I think ideally, that's the message really. Ideally, Isaac would love to combine the two. The twins are actually representing two approaches, the spiritual and the earthly, and he would love to have the head of Jacob, which is connected to God, with the down-to-earth approach of his other son Esau. So that's I would say the message. This is the rivalry between Israel and the imperial force. So according to the rabbinic tradition, the Edomites would later roll into the Roman Empire even. And this is a struggle that continues almost until this very day. Okay, according to some rabbinic interpretations, the struggle between Israel, which is not supposed to be imperial, it's supposed to unify humanity without uniformity, compared to the more imperial forces of the world, the Esau forces of the world that wants to impose its uniformity on the world. Okay, so this is it for this time. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. I'm trying to teach the Bible with Google Earth, so to give some geographical context to the stories, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.